Good morning, church. I had considered doing this devotion this morning with just the left side of my face for the reason of my hair. Maybe you're like me and haven't had a haircut in months, and I decided to go with that and just let it be because it's a real reflection of our times. And wanted to bring up a word that I just discovered yesterday, heard for the first time. It's called infodemic. And what it means is the mass spread of misinformation through social media. Maybe we used to call it fake news, but just on a wide level, like a mass spread of that information, causing panic and hysteria and anger. And I got to thinking of some of the other words that we've learned along the way, like flattening the curve or shelter in place or quarantine, which I think is probably the most commonly used word. And I decided to do a word search into that, and it comes from the Latin word quaranta, which means 40. And I got to thinking how we are really misusing this term, quarantine. It's described as a down side. It's a negative thing. It's a bummer, if you will. Kind of got to, self-isolate. And I wonder what it would look like if we looked at quarantine from a positive angle. That is, from a 40-day perspective. We as Christians are used to doing that in a time called Lent, which is 46 days when you count the Sundays, but 40 throughout the course of history and the Bible is the marked time of preparation, the marked time of prayer, of devotion, of something new, a change. And I wonder if we could take this negative word quarantine and look at it in a positive way for us to vote to devote ourselves. Just like the apostles did, just like the disciples did in Acts chapter 2, when it says in verse 42 that they devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings and fellowship and the breaking of bread and prayer. And verse 47 concludes, what happened as a result of these things? The Lord added to their number day by day. I wonder if in our quarantine, as we attempt to flatten the curve of COVID-19, how can we bend the curve for those being saved? Let us continue to pray. I know fellowship and breaking of bread is a little different now, but that doesn't mean we can't do it. We're doing it right now, being one in the Spirit. But certainly, what if we were responsive to the apostles' teachings, the teachings of Jesus throughout the New Testament, and of course, the teachings of God overall in the Bible? What if we devoted ourselves to that for another 40 days? We can do it, church. And that time begins now. It began 38 days ago. Let us quarantine ourselves in devotion. Amen.